Play-based learning allows a child to be in control of their learning. It allows them to become an independent learner. It allows them to develop the language sets and the future direction of their learning. It allows them to engage across the early childhood domains of cognition, communication, social and gross motor and fine motor development in a social setting that can therefore drive their learning.
So in a typical day, you generally see children that would play alone. They choose to do activities by themselves. They might speak to a few people, but they generally keep to themselves. And then you'll find children that buddy up with another person and play alongside them. They'll talk about the things that they're playing with, but not necessarily about anything socially, just about what they're doing. And then you'll start to see the people that work along maybe 2 or 3 different types of people. They'll talk about the tools that they're using, they'll share ideas about their play. And then you'll start to see people or the children working in groups. They'll team up with lots of other people. They'll start to talk about their play in terms of social aspects and begin to develop the rules for their play.
Children at play are doing their hardest work of the day. And that's because when children are at play, they're using all of their thinking, they're using physical skills, they're using communication skills, and they're developing those skills. And we call that, in theory, developmentally appropriate practice, which just means they're doing what they ought to be doing at that developmental stage of their life.
Quite often you hear the statement from parents, but all they're doing is play, and that's exactly the point. Play is a child's work. So we go to work and we learn different skills. They play to learn different skills. So not only is it enjoyable, but they're developing the skills that they will need for the rest of their lives.
When children are outdoors, they use similar groupings to what they do indoors. So there is opportunity for solitary play, parallel play, small and large group play. But with the difference outdoors, there's a lot more space that the children need to negotiate through. And also it's an opportunity for the children to begin to formulate their own rules and their own strategies of a play. In this area, they have a group of children that are kicking the ball at the same time or using frisbees in the same area. They need to negotiate and mediate how they're going to do that as safely as possible. So they need to make up their own rules, they need to facilitate their rules, and they need to work progressively through their play, changing their rules and their strategies to their own imaginations and creativity and how they want that game to play.
Well, the Receptual Motor program is trying to help them socially, mentally and physically in creating that person, and that's what we do with the small groups. They move from one station to the next station. They have 3 or 4 minutes on each station, and basically they're learning one skill and they're moving on to another skill. By doing that, they're staying at a basic and they're able to challenge themselves and move up and go for the different levels. They think they're just playing, but they're actually learning, and they're learning to explore.
Play, by definition, means I have a choice. It means I am in control. It means that this is my world, and the world of play belongs to the person engaged in play, and everyone else needs to enter that world.
So in the world of play, when you see the boys playing alongside each other, that tends to focus on their natural way of playing with one other person and having that other person as a backup. They tend to also be very much more hands-on than the girls. So that other person can sometimes model to them what they need to be doing or give them ideas, and it's their way of saying, is this okay? Whereas the girls, being much more social, like to chat about what they're doing, and so they tend to play more in smaller groups so that they've got that reference of what does that girl like to do socially, how can I mirror that?
It's the educator's job to ensure that the environment suits the nature of the play the children need to engage in. It's the educator's job to understand the needs of the children, to understand what it is about that child that needs to be developed today. Peter Pan learnt to fly again when he knew what it was like to be a child. We need to know what it's like to be a child.